All right, I am just home from Vegas for the Microsoft Excel World Championship 2025. Great trip. I really underperformed. So last year I was in the top 32. This year I missed out by 2 points, so needed to do the last chance qualification round. And it was a case that should have really suited me with a small map here, and I absolutely flopped it for whatever reason and went out. So this is going to be a solution. I'll also post solutions to the other 5 cases, hopefully this week. Let's get into it. So this is basically a case about Pac-Man. We have a map here and you'll be placed in a cell and go around collecting these white dots. So the first bonus is how many walls are in the maze. So we can say, well, first of all, let's label the maze with MP for map. So MP, just so it's quicker to reference later. So I can say most of MP, and then I'm just looking for these wall segments here. So if I just highlight over those, we can see there's 486, so 486. And then I'm also going to just label this a D for dot, so I can refer to that later, because a lot of the questions are going to be about how many dots do you collect. One code block in the maze has a slightly different font color than the rest. So I didn't get this live because I just thought, oh crap, I don't have a VBA for font color, but I have it for background color, and then I just skipped it. But stupidly, you can just do find and replace by format, which is, you know, what I always do for these type of questions. Normally, just for whatever reason, I didn't. So for cases like this, you just can go find all, come to the bottom, shift click to highlight all of them, and then just put them in yellow. And then we can see one dot here is not yellow, it's pretty clear, AE35. So it's Control Z, and it should be AE35, AE35. Okay, and then let's do some questions. So what is in the designated cell? So address the contents of this in our map. That's nice and easy, no problem on the day. And then how many code blocks do you pick up after moving across this sequence in the maze? So again, this is just address the contents of this stuff in the map, but we want to check whether that's equal to a dot. And then we want to do sum minus minus to count all those up. Okay, next up, it's the same question, but the blocks can only be picked up once. So let's paste the formula in. But for this string, we're going to take all of these and we're going to do the unique ones. One thing to watch out for is we need to do unique by column here, because we're spinning across instead of down. Okay, level 4. Now this is where my journey ended basically. So how many code blocks do you pick up before hitting a wall, given a starting cell and direction? So I was very stupid here. I basically made a unique list of these and did a list of my arrows. And then I basically wanted to just copy them in, so I had a reference table to look up from the hand symbols to the arrows. So let's do that now. There we go, so now we have our lookup. So now we can do X lookup our hand in here and give me back the arrow. That's just going to give me the arrow for everything. And then what I did on the day is I basically said move on map from this start cell, this arrow, the multiple is going to be, let's just say 20, and the map is going to be map. And my behavior when I hit a wall is going to be 1, so stop when you hit a wall. And then I also have a spill path argument, so show path. There we go. So I could show the path of everywhere I go, and then I just did what I did up in the last question, so get the number of dots. But that is wrong, because that is just stopping when I hit one of the outer edges of my map and not these internal walls. So I think a couple of other people made that mistake, but because it was an early question, people that didn't try to be fancy with lambdas like me did it correctly. So yeah, that was a bit of a fail. What I should have done is I should have used what I have is called priority movement. So it takes a map, so let's give it a map. It takes a start, it takes a priority arrow, so I can give it a number of arrows. And when it hits a blocker, which I'll give in a minute, it will take the next arrow in the list. But we only have one arrow that we're going to move, and our blockers are these walls from earlier. And then I can specify a number of steps. So if I just go 10 steps, for example, for now, you'll see that will show me with 10 steps, always trying to move this direction. Where will I get to until I hit a wall? So that would be here, and this is the actual intended one I want. So let's do like 100 steps, and then just do unique of those, because I don't want repeats where I have 100 out of bounds steps basically. So I might change this lambda to remove this error, because then it will save me a step of saying if error blank or whatever else. Let's just say blank. Whoops. And then now I can basically just do this whole thing up here, count if we have the dots. So sum minus minus that equals a dot. So that is going to be my answer. So yeah, really gutted about that because I missed a bonus link to this, which is if you take the answers, convert them into letters, so A being 1, B being 2, so that's just going to be the character of this plus 64, because 64 plus 1 would be character of 65, which is A. Then you get this bubblegum, which is the name of one of the ghosts. Just do concat this. So yeah, it's just bubblegum. So let's copy that up into here. And then question 5. So basically in this one, we are moving alongside a ghost, and whenever we hit the ghost, we will stop moving. So to figure out where that is, we can say, does this array equal the array up here where the ghost is? And then where that's true, we've hit the ghost. So we can say x match true in that. And if I actually straight it down, we are hitting it in some of them, but in most of them, we are not. One of the bonuses is actually to find the move turns where we hit the ghost and sum them up. So I could just do that now. If I sum that, you can see in the bottom corner it's 273. So let's just do that now while we're here. 273. And then the next step, now that we know where we hit the ghost, so if there's an error, I want to say if error, we're not going to hit it, and we know there's 100 steps, so do 100. And then we just want to take from this array the first 100 columns, or however many columns till we hit the ghost, and then we want to check if they're dots. So we need to do our unique thing again by column, so unique by column, so we don't duplicate, and then address to contents on our map. That's just basically a indirect, or a non-volatile indirect, and then we want sum of minus minus, does that equal a dot? So very much like the other question, we're just finding where we hit the ghost. And I think that might have got me through if I'd have gotten to there. It would have been very close. So level 6, I did actually get level 6 out mostly, but again, there's another situation where my maze lambdas kind of ruined me. So the idea is you're given a starting cell and some cells where ghosts are placed. So the ghosts kind of block your path, and you want to find the shortest path to one of these power-ups here. So I used the lambda to say what we can walk on. I labelled where the ghosts will be with an X, designated that I could walk on these dots, and then realised there's some blanks here, so I needed to kind of flag them as something to walk on, so I put them as X as well in error, so I could walk on ghosts and the blanks, which I didn't want to walk on the ghosts, so I only got a few of these right, and that basically cost me the qualification, but let's do it now, now that we know how to do it. So let's make a copy of the map, let's get our data table come through, so example 6, and this is going to be our start cell here, and the rest are where ghosts are. So let's build this up. So let's just unmerge these because we have some merged cells there. I don't actually need those, I'll just delete them out. Because of this warp mechanic, maze lambdas kind of make this difficult. You could use them and you'll only get 2 questions wrong because you only warp in 2 questions. But the easiest way is kind of the old school circular reference method. So because we're doing circular references, we'll make a circuit breaker cell up here. So let's build this up. Let's do our circuit breaker first. So if this, give me blank, otherwise. So now we just need to build everything out. So let's say let address of cells, so this just AD is address of cells of where we are. And then I want to say if address equals our start cell and lock it, then it's a 0. Otherwise, if exists, and that's just is number x match underneath, exists our address in this list, that means it's a ghost, so give us an x. Otherwise, give me the minimum of all the cells around me, plus 1. I think that should be all we need. I need to put a bracket on over my exists and often forget to do that. Okay, so we get a 9 because it's pulling off of this 8 here, so let's just remove these for a second so that doesn't mess us up. And we want to copy this over everything here except the walls. So the easiest way to copy a formula to certain background cells and not others is to Control C on it. Let's find by format. We already have the dots from earlier in that bonus question too. So again, we can do find all, come to the bottom, shift click that, and then we have all of our cells here. And then Control Alt V to paste special and paste formulas. So we get all of our formulas pasted to where it matters. Now I think we have the kind of error here. So yeah, that's fine. That's the whole point of having our circuit breakers. I'm just going to copy the formula down to where these power-ups are. So let's do that. There we go. Let's turn our circuit breaker back on. Oh, and we still have errors because I haven't locked haven't locked that circuit breaker cell, so let's just fix that. So I want to lock this, and then again, let's do our whole copy thing again. So find by format, find all, highlight all of them, Control Alt V, paste formulas only, turn our circuit breaker on. Okay, that's good. We have a 1 dot here which didn't follow through because of the formatting. Would have been another way to find it, to be fair. And then our circular references should be working. So we don't actually need these ones in here, but this is all of our movements to places. These outside ones, I mean, I could delete those out now because technically we can't walk on the outside of the map, but you wouldn't need to. I'll just do it to be neat because it looks better. Even though it's a bit tedious to watch. These are outside, these are outside. These are blocked off. Let's make it a bit smaller. Okay, and we're pretty much done other than these warp cells. So the whole reason to do the circular method in this case is because I can just add on the cell the other side. So I can just say also take the minimum of this one. And then in this formula here, I can also take the minimum of one the other side, like so. And then let's just copy that down here and copy this one down here. And then we're basically done. We just need to find the minimum distance to all of the power-ups. So for that we can do find in map, and then we want to find the power-ups, which are this, in our map. That will just spill all the addresses where they are. And then I want to do address to contents of all of that stuff in this grid here, and take the minimum. So yeah, so yeah, it's funny, we get so into the habit of doing like maze landers now, and then when you have a question like this, yeah, I basically asked Kobe what was your intended solution because it was so hard, it threw us all off with that warping, and he said, oh, you just do the circular reference and add the cell from the other side, and then it seems so obvious. But yeah, at the time, it's really, really not. And now I'm just going to delete this out because all the circular reference stuff normally slows the spreadsheet down. And we have only one more question, so let's get it done. So level 7 was actually probably easier than level 6. So it's very much like level 5, where we have ghosts, but we have 3 ghosts moving around the map, and if we get a power up, we go invincible. So I'll do a model for this one. So it's going to be level 7, 121. And with models like this, I'm trying to get into the habit of spilling everything out more fully, because I often run into errors. So let's just think logically about what we need. So we need our hero, where we are, and then we need the bug 1, 2, and 3. And let's do transpose of this, because that's never going to change. So there's our bug positions. Let's just center everything up so it's nice and neat. So now we need to know what's in these cells, but we can only collect them once. So let's just check where we've been before. So if we just X match the list on itself, that's going to spill a sequence of 1 to 200 until we hit a place that's the same. And then the X match is going to come up to say, you know, this was in position 1 or earlier than 45, which means we've already hit it. So we can say, does that equal a sequence of 200, which is how many moves we do? And where that's a false, it means we've been there before. So I can say, if that's true, then give me address to contents of this stuff on the map. Otherwise, just give me a blank. So then we'll start getting some blanks where we've been there before. So next we need to know if we're invincible, and that is just going to be where we've hit a power up in the last 30 turns. So first of all, let's get the last 30 turns. So we can use take for that. So take this array and lock the first cell, and let's do minus 30. So the good thing about take is if you don't have 30 columns, it will just take what it can, and we will know if that equals a power up, and we can do minus minus, and we can say minus minus, or that equals a power up. So any of those things in the last 30 turns are a power up, and let's just do it like this so it looks a bit neater. So here we hit the power up, and then for 30 turns we'll be invincible, basically. So if we're invincible while we run into a ghost, we kill that ghost and their moves stop. So let's say hit 1, hit 2, hit 3. And we can say, does this, and let's lock it to the column, equal this. That means it's a hit. let's do our whole minus minus thing again as well, because it looks a bit neater. Okay, so we hit ghost 3 here, both in AF23, but we're invincible, so we kill that ghost. So next, I think I'll just spill the new ghost moves. So let's just call it bug 1 again, bug 2, bug 3. So I'm gonna say if, so we're invincible, times we hit the ghost, and let's just lock that to the column. So that means we've hit the ghost. So we're gonna do a blank. Even if we haven't hit the ghost, we're gonna give the cell that it was in. So that will give us all the cells of the ghosts until we've hit them. So we can see this ghost gets hit and it's blank. So I just want to add one more condition, that when there's a blank above it, then the rest will always spill blank, so that it's permanently dead. So I'm going to say if above equals blank, do blank, otherwise give me that stuff. And then we can see we've killed ghost 3 there. Then all we need to do is check where we die. So let's say end, and we end where the cell we're in equals any of these cells. So we can say minus minus or that stuff. And again, let's just do that. So we die here because we're not invincible and we hit ghost 2 here. Actually, yep, that's right. So I think say equals x match 1 in here, and if 1 doesn't exist, so say if error, it means we completed the whole circuit, so 200 moves, so 57. So then all I want to do is take from what's in the cells 57 or 200, whatever's going to happen on each question, and I want to check where they're a dot and add them up. So if that equals a dot, and then add up those, so sum minus minus that stuff. And that should be the answer. So let's just data table that. Hope data tables are working today. Looks like they are. So there we go. And then there's one more bonus, which is there's one game in which we kill all bugs. Which game number is it? So all we need to say is equals and all of these are blank basically, and those are blank. That means we've killed a ghost. So it's true here on game 135. So yeah, that is a solution. Incredibly frustrating because in hindsight this was kind of an easy case for me. But yeah, on the day, I think the pressure of going out 2 points, knowing it was my only chance back in, I just absolutely, well, question 4, as I mentioned earlier, just did it too quickly and didn't think about the question properly. And then question 6, yeah, made an error. So I was close, but it cost me. Anyway, all the cases will be uploaded soon. I also am going to finish my course for beginners. I need to do that before the first round of Road to Las Vegas, so anyone that's a beginner and new to this has a good resource to try and learn as much as they can. So that's it, and I'll see you next time.